Hi and welcome to 5 Minute Reflections. We're back again. Today we have a program called Fair Play, but perhaps it should be entitled Can't Play or Don't Play or Not Allowed to Play. There's all sorts of things it could be called. And it's about wheelchair sports, disability sports, and the fairness of the rules within it. Before we start today, I'd like to encourage you please to subscribe to our programs and our channel in any way you can, because that will really help us get things going and be able to bring you more content and hopefully be of more help to you. And today we're sponsored by Simple Solutions in Hervey Bay and Hello World Travel in Hervey Bay, and also being helped out by the NDIS in my NDIS funding. So thank you to all those people. Let's have a talk about today's Fair Play, Don't Play, Can't Play. And we're going to talk about two stories. One was mine, but the main one at the moment is from and I will be reading a bit because I want to get this right, and we are live streaming, is about a young boy called Oscar Knight, 17, who dreamed of a spot playing in Great Britain's wheelchair basketball team in the Olympics. And just right now, he's been told that a rule change will make him ineligible, because he will not be disabled enough to play, to be eligible to play. Now, this young boy has very weak joints, very weak bones. They can break easily. He has a pain condition. Now, let me see if I can find what the pain condition is called. It's Complex Regional Pain Syndrome, or CRPS, debilitating. He can't walk anymore. He started off on crutches. He now is full-time in a wheelchair. He can't play any other sport, despite being a good young sportsman when he was younger and in school and loving sport. So he's transferred his sports love to wheelchair basketball. And to be told that he is not disabled enough, even though he's full-time in a wheelchair, to play, has devastated him. And he is considering having his leg amputated in order to play, to be eligible to be in the Olympics. And this is after, by the way, he has already captained an under-22 basketball team against Spain. So he's pretty much up there. Now, you may think, what a foolish young man. Why would you ever consider having a leg amputated to play sport? And you think, no one would ever do that. Well, in actual fact, I'm just looking up the name of the gentleman. There's another gentleman, and his name is George Bates, and if we put his picture up, he's on the left, and guess what he's thinking of doing? Amputating his leg. And guess why? So he's eligible to play basketball. People are incredibly passionate about sports. It becomes a large part of their life, and a large part sometimes of their self-esteem. And to be told you are all of a sudden not disabled enough to play wheelchair basketball or wheelchair rugby or any wheelchair sports or any disabled sports, if you can't play the mainstream version, in my mind is just very, very wrong. Now, before we finish on this one, let me tell you about what happened to myself. Many years ago, I was on a train in Melbourne, and a member of the Australian wheelchair rugby was on the train with me, and he said to me, "G'day, young fellow, have you ever played wheelchair rugby?" And I said, "No, but I've heard it's pretty violent and pretty full on, and I wouldn't mind giving it a try." And he said, "Look, we are looking for a strong man like you." I think what he was trying to say was a big fat guy who will be hard to get out of the way. But anyway, I said, "Yep, I would love to come and give it a try." So I'd never tried wheelchair sports before. I rolled up very excited and very happy, and I was in the chair, and I raised both arms above my shoulders and head. And he said, "Can you raise both hands above your shoulders and head?" I said, "Yep." He said, "You're not eligible to play. You're not eligible to play in the national team or the state team, and in fact you really shouldn't even be playing in a local league." He said, "But some of them will let you play, but if you do play, you're not allowed to score any points. You have to wait till there's somebody more disabled than you to come along, and you can pass it off to them, and they can score the points." And I've got to admit, I was furious, because I'm in a wheelchair. I wanted to play the wheelchair rugby. I was quite excited. But I was even more angry at that time, thinking of a 16-year-old boy, or in this case, Oscar, who's 17-year-old, who is unable to play a sport and then told he's not disabled enough to play the wheelchair brand. I think this kind of thinking is narrow and very, very wrong. Oscar's mother, Natasha, said it's crazy that the IPC, which attempts to base its brand around equality and inclusivity, is deliberately discriminating against athletes who doesn't meet its own narrow-minded view of what it means to be disabled. And that's exactly how I felt about the wheelchair rugby. Narrow-minded and unfair. Now let me just bring up a counterpoint. Last year, I covered the first wheelchair rugby league, which is different to wheelchair rugby league test match between Australia and Great Britain, I think. Yep, Great Britain, not England, Great Britain. And can't remember, I'll get into trouble. It was one of those. And the exciting thing there was you can be fully able-bodied and play in that game. Now you may think, well, that's silly. But I saw some wonderful things during that game. For example, and I'm trying to remember their names, Corey and I think it's Craig. Father and son. We'll get them up, Carl, if we can. And they are both in the Australian team. And guess what? The dad is in a wheelchair. The son is able-bodied. And I was very emotional when I saw it, because I thought how wonderful that would be and how much I would have loved to have been able to play some sport with my father. And I think that is a far better way of looking at things. There may be some things we can do to change it. We could have different leagues within a sport so that it's for different people with different disabilities, but something needs to be done. That's my 5-minute reflection, which I've entitled Fair Play. Again, I want to thank Simple Solutions in Hervey Bay, Hello World Travel in Hervey Bay, and the NDIS, who are helping me out through my plan for helping us get these things up and running. We'll see you again soon with another 5-minute reflection. Please don't forget to subscribe. We need you to subscribe. We want you to be part of our family. Put that graphic up, Carl, that you spent hours making. Come on, with the music, and we'll see you all. No, you were going to do the full screen, Carl. Come on. Come on. And we'll see you all soon back on Accessible Globe TV. Thanks.